Hi, I am Sue Ann, Jesus enthusiast, wife, mother, and maker of things. Follow along with me in making crafts, apparel, jewelry, and so much more, all while sharing daily life experiences. And being a mother of 5, I promise I have plenty of those. So put on your confidence cap and let's get to making. Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining me today in making 2023 Super Bowl earrings made of polymer clay. Chiefs, Eagles, Chiefs, Eagles. I don't know about you, but I am so ready for Sunday. Brisket nachos. That reminds me, I need to season that. We'll put a pin in that for now. Adult beverages, cheering and maybe even screaming at the TV with my family. I mean, let's go. Who are you rooting for? I'm gonna be rooting for, not sure what happened there. I guess you'll have to wait till the end of the video and see. All right, so grab your things and let's get to making. Okay, so materials needed today are gonna be based upon which team you are going for this Super Bowl. If you're going for the Chiefs, I am using the Sculpey Souffle and Cherry Pie and Yellow Gold Glitter. If you're going for the Eagles, I am using the Sculpey Souffle in Jade. And then I'm also using black and white because I'm gonna make a little marbled effect on the top. Then you're going to need your cutters, a small round cutter, and an open arch cutter. Hole punch, your clay scraper, 2 tiles, a piece of paper cut in half, your jewelry tools, jump rings and hooks, a little bit of cornstarch to help keep your clay from sticking to the glass or your cutters, an acrylic roller or a pasta machine, and then some sandpaper to fine tune things if you choose to do so. All right, now that we have our materials, it is time to prep the clay. So when I first started working with clay, I thought this stuff is super hard. How does anyone make anything out of this stuff? But over time and some trial and error, I have come up with a few tips to help soften your clay and make sure it's the right consistency for you. Tip number 1, doesn't even cost you anything. It's your hands. Having hands that are a little bit warmer while you're working with clay is gonna be very helpful than having icy cold fingers. So give your clay some time to soften up while you just work it in your hands. Tip number 2, try mixing your current clay with a softer clay. This right here, this is the Sculpey Souffle clay. I love this stuff. This stuff is so soft. So if you're working with something really hard, mix a little bit of this into it and it will definitely help soften it up. Tip number 3, clay softener and thinner. Just a drop or 2 of this will definitely help soften your clay. Okay, so now that we have the clay all rolled out in the size that we want it, I want to make some white and black marbled circle tops for the earrings for the Eagles. So to get this effect, I'm going to be using 2 parts black and 1 part white. I want to cut this into tiny little squares and then roll it all up into a little ball in my hands. As you can see, it's starting to come together. This right here reminds me of like a little cow pattern. I'm gonna roll it out with my acrylic roller just a little bit, mix it around a little bit more. Now that the clay is the design that I wanted to have, I'm gonna put it down on a little bit of cornstarch to keep it from sticking. I'm also going to dab my little cutter into the cornstarch, decide where I wanna put it on this pattern, and cut out my 2 circles. All right, now we have the 2 circle tops that are gonna be for the Eagles earrings. It is now time to cut out the gold circle tops for the Chiefs. After we have both of those cut out, I'm gonna go ahead and punch the holes for the jump rings into the 4 circles that are ready to go. All right, so now it's time to go ahead and use our open arch cutter. We are going to cut out 2 for the Chiefs, which is gonna be the cherry pie color, or 2 for the Eagles, which is the jade. All right, after everything is cut out, I am going to use this paintbrush and just get off any of the excess cornstarch or even just the little pieces of clay just to kind of clean things up a little bit. It wasn't until I finished recording this and things were in the oven that I realized I forgot to put the holes for the jump rings and the arches. But that's okay, because that just gives us an opportunity for me to show you how you can do it post baking your clay. So maybe it was a good thing that happened that way. God is good that way. All right, so now I went ahead and I am sandwiching up our design. It goes on a cookie sheet and into the oven at 275 degrees for 1 hour. Okay, so the clay is out of the oven now. It is cooled off, and like I said before, I forgot to put the jump ring holes into the clay before baking it. But never fear, a Dremel is here. Or if you don't have one of those, a handheld drill that's non-electrical is fine as well. I'll be sure to put a link in the description below to some of your options that you have. I'm gonna place this piece of board underneath just so that if I accidentally go through the clay, it goes into the board and not into my glass table. Safety first, you wanna put on your goggles. Just kidding, I did not do that. So do as I say, not as I do. And whenever I'm using my Dremel, I am just going straight down and straight back up, nice and smooth. Okay, so now that I've got the holes and the arches, I'm gonna go ahead and switch out my head and the Dremel to the softer tip and just kind of sand down the sides a little bit. Now that everything is sanded down the way we want, let's assemble our earrings. Okay, so I'm gonna use these little wire hooks. I'm doing silver for the eagles and gold for the chiefs. I'm also using 8mm jump rings. So I'm just gonna open up the hook just a little bit, pull back on it, slide it through. It kind of requires a little bit of maneuvering, but you'll figure it out. And whenever you're done, you'll just use your round nose pliers or your other flat nose pliers, whichever ones you're working with today, and you'll just push it back together to be sure that it stays in place. After that, we're gonna go ahead and apply our jump rings. In order to do so, we just take our flat nose pliers and our round nose pliers. We pull the jump rings away from each other, and then we'll loop it through the open arch that we made and do the opposite to close it up. We'll just turn it back in towards each other. We're gonna repeat this process for the Chiefs colors. And voila, you guys have made either Kansas City Chief earrings or Philadelphia Eagles. Which one? Ready to see which ones I'll be wearing? All right, you guys have done it. And as you can see, I will be going for the Kansas City Chiefs this Sunday for Super Bowl 2023. It's gonna be a blast. My husband and I are going for the Chiefs. Some of our kids are going for the Eagles. I love a good rivalry game. I will say this, Patrick was quoted earlier this week saying that it is his Christian faith that allows him to have peace on the field and that it is his life goal to glorify God in all that he does. Patrick, I am praying for you and your team this Sunday. I'm praying for everyone else to have a super fabulous and safe Super Bowl weekend. Until next time, be confident in who you are and all that you do. I gotta go season a brisket now. Bye.